Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Was a big night for Collision, and I have a big guest next to me on my. I think right. Yes. Tonight we are joined again by the executive consultant. I call him EC for short. It's an honor to have you back in the Collision studio. As always, you're always welcome here. You know that, obviously. Um, and yeah, what a great show tonight, but it also had some rough bumps along the way. But we are now less than 24 hours away from AEW's pay-per-view tomorrow, Dynasty. So what do you think about that, EC? Only less than 24 hours away from the show.
Yeah.
Go ahead, if you want. Go ahead,
I'm
man.
not.
It's yours.
I'm not exactly the most excited for it, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's something. I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't really care for the card all that much. You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple matches I think that's going to be really underrated, and I think there's going to be a couple matches that are going to be boring as all hell. So but tonight though was a pretty decent Collision show. We started off. Besides they play the Elton John song, but besides that, they started off with Don Callis on commentary the whole night. So that was kind of fun. Don Callis is a big personality on commentary, and the fact that he got to join the team throughout the whole show, I thought was really funny. What did you think of his commentary? Before we get into
No, the funny thing is, I think in our chat, Big Daddy Cool actually mentioned that Don Callis actually will have a future in color commentating. Nigel McGuinness, in my opinion, is one of the best color commentators out there. I was sad to see he was not there tonight, especially since I had to watch Collision. But Don Callis does a fantastic job, a fine job. He's very good on the mic. Give me anybody but Daddy Magic.
Yeah, he is not that good. Even Chris Jericho is better, by the way. Shout out to him. He was not on tonight, but that's okay. He's gonna be there tomorrow. They finalized the card. He's gonna be on it. So yay! Anyway, our first match of the night was Takeshita. I don't know how you say his first name. Don't ask me. I have no idea. And I think it was Kyle Fletcher versus, oh my god, if I messed this name up, I think it's Ibushi, I think, and Powerhouse Hobbs, right? I think it's
It was
Ibushi.
Powerhouse.
Yeah, I know Powerhouse. I just don't know if it's Ayushi or if it's I have no idea. Ayushi. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. I feel so bad. And then there was Rocky Romero with them as well.
On the outside parading around or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he was. This match was okay. I guess you could say it wasn't the greatest. Powerhouse Hobbs got some pretty good moves in here and there. But besides that, I don't know. I felt like Rocky Romero goofing around all, like you said, outside of the ring just kind of was just a little too distracting. But Kyle Fletcher can sell anything, and he did, and just his taunts and his gimmicks. You know what I mean? Like, he really, really upsold and really ticked off Hobbs. So I really did like that. What did you think?
I'm not a fan of Fletcher. I haven't been a fan of Fletcher. Yeah, I mean, he's had a decent match or two, but
okay,
not really a fan. He doesn't interest me. He's a little too forced. I think Don Callis helps with his heat. I think Takeshita doesn't really have charisma like that. Right. But it's not the worst. But he's tremendous in that ring. So I respect him a lot. Hobbs, yeah, he's okay for a mid-carder, and Ibushi, where the hell his name is, needs retirement.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. And your thoughts on Rocky Romero, goofing around all over this match, because that's what it was. It really was Don Callis' commentary who really sold this match, in my opinion. I think Don Callis really sold this match, because this match was not a great opener. I'll be honest with you. So anyway, besides that, we finally go to the next thing here. And I believe it was, I think it was, after that, it was, I think, a backstage segment, I think, and it was something with the, oh God, who are those guys again? They actually had a match tonight. Oh God, Top Flight. That's it. That's it. It was Top Flight.
Yeah, tough fight.
Who else the hell was it? It was Top Flight, and I want to say it was Nick Wayne. I think that's his name. I think Nick Wayne. I'm not.
Well, that's the match for Dynasty tomorrow. Top Flight was in a match 2-on-2 with the
Okay.
Crew, as they like to be called.
Okay.
But not Rocky Romero. God knows he's on my brain now. Probably anybody's ever said Rocky Romero's name. But AR Fox later should make an appearance, which brings Nick Wayne out because they have a feud going on, and that's their feud. So these three. Or six, I should say, actually have a match, believe it or not, at Dynasty tomorrow night. And this was just to get them there. This was just to tell this story, to go home, so to speak, to get them into Dynasty tomorrow. Either way, I'm not invested in this feud. Yes, Gray is Layla Gray. She is an attractive woman, but she's the only thing that's important about Top Flight. Top Flight is just but a bunch of acrobats. And really, so is the Crew.
That's true.
Like I said, these four don't do it for me. And I'm looking so far at this Collision show, and I wasn't really even that impressed with Dynamite this past week. But this Collision show, you might have enjoyed it, and I understand why, because you have to have the displeasure of watching this crap every week. But this Collision show reminded me of nothing but a 2-hour rampage. It just was not hitting at all.
Yeah. The more I go through it, the more I think about it now that it did suck. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, so Nick Lane, this whole thing, I honestly don't even care. I honestly can't believe they have a match tomorrow, another match on a match on a match on a match. That's all tomorrow is. It's just more matches, and they don't know where to put anything. I don't even know if he even finalized the card yet, for the record. I have no idea yet. But so anyway, so after this whole little backstage powwow segment thing they basically did, right after that, we had the best wrestler in the world, right? DC, yeah, comes out to the ring.
Shaq Gable?
No. Max Caster. I guess not. He claims to be best wrestler in the world. He's got a little
best wrestler alive is how he says it, and it's you know what? I actually used to like Max Caster when he was with the Acclaim. I was a big fan of the Acclaim, even though I never liked the Scissor Me shit. I don't know who he pissed off or what he thinks he's doing, but this is not it. He's turned into a really glorified jobber. I think it's really terrible. I mean, Fernando says it right here. Max Caster is super lame. I think this angle is really lame, and I don't know what's going on. I don't.
This is the thing. I don't know if this was Tony Khan, if it was his booking decision, or if this was Matt Caster saying, well, the Acclaim split up, and now, I got to go on my own and just do this stupid. I don't even know what this even is, man. He thinks he's got this little certificate thing, and he's parading it around, and nobody gives a shit. I'm sorry. I don't. You don't. Nobody does. Nobody cares. The wrestling community doesn't care. They're trying to force him down our throats, and it's not working. It's not going to work. He sucks. Anyway, but he came out to the ring, and honestly, he's like, oh, open challenge. Oh, he goes, I'm going to be there tomorrow night in Philadelphia. Oh, all this talk. So Delaware Zone, I have to say this because Z, is from there, and he's friends with Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe comes out, and he actually gives Caster a match. He says, "You open challenge tonight. I'm here." And bell rings. They had a match. It was pretty much just nothing. It wasn't even a real match. It was more like, Mark Briscoe gets one over on Caster because Caster sucks. So, that's how I feel. What do you think? I
see what you're saying. I don't necessarily disagree. I think what it was more to put Briscoe a little bit more over because he'd been taking quite a few L's and he needed a couple of victories.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a fan of Mark Briscoe.
understandable.
Can we get to somebody that you like? But I'm not a fan of Mark Briscoe by any stretch of the imagination. However, he needed this victory. He needed to make a statement victory because ever since he lost his championship, he's just been taking L after L after L for the most part. And there are a lot of people he has, for the reasons I don't understand, a fan base. And you need to appease those fans sometimes, especially when you have only 2,000 in the arena. So let's go ahead and give him that victory. It was a squash victory. I just don't understand what they're doing with Max Caster. I don't understand if this is his idea or Tony Khan's idea, but it's terrible.
I don't know. It's so dumb.
But I mean, it was solid. It needed to do what it needed to do, and Max Caster picks up the victory. And
you mean Mark Briscoe picked up the
whatever the hell his name is, Mark Briscoe picks up the victory.
Okay, so
he's from Delaware. Not a lot of people can say that.
We're probably gonna go to maybe my favorite backstage segment of the night. Maybe this was Jay White basically calling out Will Ospreay and blaming the Death Riders for everything. They tossed it backstage, and Jay White blamed his injury on his hand to the Death Riders. He said it, I would say, 10,000 times. Death Riders, Death Riders. He just kept saying them and saying them and saying that, and I'm like, dude, I get it. They messed up your hand. Okay, and you can't wrestle in the tournament. Okay, so they replaced him with the new guy from, I think he's from New Japan or something. That Kevin Knight guy.
Whatever his name is, Kevin Knight. You're right, Kevin King.
Yeah,
Kevin Knight,
that's what they said. Yeah, that's.
I first discovered him in TNA. He wrestled in TNA for a while.
Yeah,
tremendous athlete, another acrobat in my opinion, but I think he can be trained. I think if he does well in AEW, he has a future in WWE.
I mean, that would be great. A lot of people, they've been moving back over there. So
really, but that's strong. I have to look at it again, Fernando. I mean, if you say that, I'm going to give it another look to see if it's best promo in All Elite Wackers.
I mean, tonight, maybe. I don't.
I'll take another look.
The only thing I have to say about it is he really dragged on the Death Riders. I get that, but. You're not going to, exactly. You're not going to have a match with these guys, okay? You're not going to have a match. And then at the end of the segment, he calls out Will Ospreay, saying that, we'll be going after him when he returns. I don't know. None of that makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is turn Jay White heel after Ospreay wins at Fall In. That's the only thing I can think of. You know what I'm saying? So... But yeah, so that actually happened. Then, we go to the next match, which is Top Flight. I think it's Leela Gray, Leo Rush, and Action Andretti. I hope I said his name right. I think I did. This match was pretty good, I guess, for the most part. Top Flight really sold this match. Like you said, man, they had a lot of high-flying acrobat stuff. Dante Martin, and I forget the other one's name. I only remember Dante because I saw him in Dynasty. It was either Dynamite or Collision. They're really good, man. And, yeah, they're really a solid tag team. So, yeah. What did you think?
Yeah, I mentioned them earlier. I'm not a fan. I need substance, and it's not there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they do all the the flippy acrobatic shit, and I like that. I think that's good.
I need storyline. I need something behind them. I need.
Right.
Why am I doing this flip? It's just too much.
No, man, I agree with you completely. It's just they need something better. They need to build them better. They built those guys, right? You see, I personally believe they could be maybe top, guys on to be up there with the Young Bucks, but they're not building them right. And then that's the issue with a lot of guys.
And that might be one of the problems. The Young Bucks might be their inspiration. Young Bucks are not a good tag team. Young Bucks needs to learn the art of tag team wrestling. Do they put on decent matches? Yeah, I'm not going to take anything away from the Young Bucks. But my problem is, once again, they don't tell a good story. And there's too much tornado tag in Young Bucks matches when the bottom line is a tag match is a tag match for a reason. And the tag rope is there for a reason. Let's use it. Tell a story.
Right. No, yeah. something AEW's had problems with, as you know, for a while. Anyway, so moving on from this.
Let's not move on. We talked about 3 segments, so let's go ahead. I mean, that's pretty much that segment, if I remember correctly. We're about a third through the show. Let's go ahead and run this commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Unpopular Reviews Collision Review. We'll be right back after this match. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review.
I was like,
oh, shit.
Is he really?
What? Move. Don't you eat my food. Move, guys. Move. Get your ass upstairs.
What is going on?
Okay. My dog.
The dog speaks English? What? What you got? You got Pluto? You got Goofy over there? Who's some other talking dogs over there? He said moo, and the dog talked back like, fuck out of here. Let me get a bite.
Yeah. Was I the only one that heard the dog say run them pockets?
Oh my God, Jey Uso totally let his brother down. Last week I asked you a question.
What is wrong with you?
He's a horrible brother.
I'm asking you a simple. I
swear to God.
Question. What is wrong with you? Why do you say such off the wall, off the chain thing?
Hold on, talk about. I agree with Steven.
Thank you.
He is a horrible twin. He let his brother get the shit beat out of him.
Thank you.
Did y'all not see the man zip tied?
Man, look, everybody knows if you hold on, guess what? Everybody knows if you want to pop zip ties, you roll them joints over, then you go under and then pow.
Everybody knows that. Hello.
No,
it's a known fact.
I'm sorry. For those of people who have not been arrested, how are we going to know that? How are we going to know that?
Bro,
hey, you guys need to live an exciting life like I live to know that. Then how about that?
Willie, everybody knows this, right? Ask your dog. Go ahead.
No, hey, come here, Louis. You know that?
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Unpopular Review Wrestling Rated R Raw Review, which comes to you each and every single Monday immediately after Raw, unless it's out of the country, and then it still comes on at 10:30 p.m. The bottom line is, join myself, Big Daddy Cool, as well as Steve and Willie Beeman every single Monday. But you're watching the AEW Collision Review Show. Executive Consultant here, guest hosting with the man who hosts every single Saturday, Matt Maddog Kelly, the news guy. Hey, guys.
Yes, thank you, EC. But like I was saying, that always cracks me up every time I see that commercial. It's great. The dog speaks English. That is a great memory here at UPR in the history books for sure. But I do have to note though that you guys will be back this week, right? Normal time, hopefully, because that drove my brain insane. I'm trying to post it for you guys. Okay. So next up we have another couple backstage segments. Remember, Collision's all backstage segments. I'm sure maybe you don't know. Probably do. You've been filling in a couple weeks here, so you probably understand how Collision works. Another backstage segment was after the top flight match. Leo Rush comes in. He attacks. And AR Fox. They attack Nick Wayne. Blah blah blah. So, they have a match for 0 hour. I think this is 0 hour, I believe, tomorrow night. So they're all going to be on the match. So I believe it's going to be Nick Wayne, Crew versus AR Fox in Top Flight. So, okay. Yeah. That's your 0 hour match. Yay. I don't know. I don't care. The next little backstage segment, actually, I guess, I should ask you, what did you think about this? I know you said you don't care, so, do you are excited for the 0 hour match, or you're probably not even going to watch it? What do you think, tomorrow?
I think you're absolutely right. I don't think I want to watch it.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. Yes, Nick Wayne is becoming his own boss. I agree with that. He wants to kind of take a step away from Christian Cage, and I don't know how that's going to work out for him.
Christian Cage will be back sometime in the next month, and then change things completely.
Yes. So next up, I think we had Billy Starks, and I think it was Jamie Hayter from my notes here. Jamie Hayter came, was backstage. They were talking, and it was Jamie Hayter saying, "I don't trust Athena. If I were you, I would actually not, trust her one bit." So I don't know if this is Jamie Hayter trying to play mind games with Billy Starks right before this tournament kicks off tomorrow night at the Dynasty, or this is true. Athena really is kind of being, a bit of a snake where, she's trying to screw over Billy Starks. I don't know this, but this is a very interesting story. But the problem is, I don't see, like I told you on Wednesday, I don't see any of these girls winning. I think Mercedes is going to win the tournament. So, what did you think of the segment?
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I think Mercedes is winning the tournament, so everything else is irrelevant. But I mean, I see you still, even though we already pretty sure we know who's going to win, you still got to make the stars out of everybody else. Everybody else has to look good in some way, shape, or form or fashion.
Right.
It's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, this one I wasn't too thrilled on, but the one that we're going to talk about later with Thunder Rosa and Chris Stanley, comments.
That was better. That was better. That was a lot better. But they sell more. You know what I mean? Jamie Hayter's always had problems selling. That's why I said on Wednesday, and I stand by my statement. She flopped with that title. I don't care what anybody says. Everyone's like, "Oh, she was great with that time." No, she wasn't. Sorry, she flopped with that belt. So anyway, so this next thing, I know you don't like this guy, and that's okay. The other guy, I know you used to be a fan of WWE. I know you still are. This whole thing was a bit silly to me that these guys had to sit down. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. Was the Daniel Garcia versus the Adam Cole match tomorrow night. Some people say Garcia is going to retain and finally get one over on Adam. Some people say Adam's finally going to take away a belt from Garcia. They had a little sit down, and Adam Cole, man, was really talking about his history in pro wrestling. I don't know if you noticed this, EC, about 17 years and doing everything for the business, all over the business. So, Adam Cole's winning the title. We will see. What do you think, EC?
I'm a fan of Adam Cole. I think he's had a bad couple of years that's really hurt him and his career. I hate to say it like that, but I think it has. I think his stock has gone way down compared to where he used to be. I've not, once again, and I feel like this is a repetitive thing I'm saying, it's bothering me. Because as much as I rag on AEW, I really want them to do better.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Garcia is not it for me. He never has been.
Right.
He is one. I don't get their fascination with him.
Comment up here, you can see.
I agree. I don't agree. Yeah. I don't get their fascination with him. I don't think why they think he's the future. It's not. It's not there.
Yeah.
He and Adam Cole put on a solid match because Adam Cole doesn't have a boring match that much with anybody. So I think they'll have a good match, but Daniel Garcia is not it. And I think Adam Cole needs this championship to gain a little bit of momentum back. Just a little bit, unfortunately. But I got Daniel Garcia winning. After this promo, I think we're going to have Daniel Garcia win.
Yep, I agree with you. You see, I think he is still going to win. I think, look, you're right. Adam Cole needs a championship, but I don't think the TNT championship is it. I think World Championship maybe okay. Him and Will Ospreay maybe down the line. I know it's not going to be Moxley. Obviously, Moxley's probably going to go on vacation when Will Ospreay takes the belt off of him and fall in. So I personally agree with you. I think Garcia is going to retain this. And I think this whole sit down was a bit, I guess you could say, a bit silly because, no one really cares about Garcia. Everyone cares about Adam Cole. But, I don't know. But I think, Garcia is gonna win because they're trying to get a rub on him, right? I'm sure, we talk about this all the time. We even talked about this on Wednesday and even on Thursday. I think the Adam Cole rub might maybe put him over a little bit more. But you're right. They got to add story there. So I don't know what they're going to end up doing. But I agree with you about him winning, though. That went on for a while. Then we have, oh god, which one is it? I always get them confused. There's Dax and then there's Cash. I remember
this was Cash.
Yeah. Versus I think it's Pac. Yeah, Pac or Pac. Yeah. This was fun, I guess. I really don't care for FTR.
Solid match. It was a solid match.
Yeah.
These are two people that you expect to have a solid match because they're both very good in the ring. I'm a big fan of Pac. I've been a big fan of Pac since he was Neville. I think he's actually upped his game since he became Pac. That being said, FTR, I think, is a solid team and they have solid matches, but just like I said earlier, they bore me. Now, sometimes over the last year, I feel like they've been getting a little bit more charismatic. I think Edge has helped them out with that a little bit. I know they've been friends for quite a while, but at the same time, I'm not invested.
No,
I don't know if this is leading to FTR turning on Edge or FTR turning on each other. I don't know it. We're going to find out what happens, but I'm not really invested because FTR never can keep my interest for so long outside of a match. They're decent in the ring, but their egos, they make themselves bigger than what they actually are. And I feel like that's a problem they had in WWE their whole career, and I feel like that's a problem they have in AEW. They feel like they're bigger than they actually are.
Yeah, I agree with that. I remember when they first came to AEW, everyone made the biggest thing about them coming into the company, and I was excited, but at the same time, I was like, well, they think, like you said, they think they're too big, and they're not. A lot of people don't care about them, so. But no, I thought the match was good for the most part. So I thought the match was good. Then we get, King, I guess, or drop the King. I guess we were gonna, we get Ricochet, and he's going to ringside for commentary to watch the next match. I like this. Just Ricochet on commentary. I thought he was funny. Not as good as Don Callis on commentary, but Moxley's losing the championship tomorrow night. If you're only I can see that. I don't think Moxley's gonna lose though. I really don't believe I think Moxley's gonna retain because somebody needs to face him at Fall AEW Fall in July, and that's definitely going to be Will Ospreay because he's winning that other tournament thing. Owen Hart, he's winning that no matter what anybody says. Obviously, right, EC. I mean. Help me out here.
Ospreay, John Moxley, and Fallon, in my opinion. I think that's your money match. I think it's a match that needs to happen. I agree with you. I think Moxley takes a break after that, as well he should. I think he deserves it. I think he earns it. And I'm not saying that because I think his title reign's been good, but I'm saying that because even though his title reign's not been the most entertaining, he shows up for work a lot and he puts his body on the line a lot. He does a lot. And I think he deserves that break. Plus, there's something called wrestler's fatigue as far as the fans get tired of seeing him. And I think that's what's going on with John Moxley right now. So yeah, if he can, as long as he can last, he'll win definitely against Swerve tomorrow. As far as what were you talking about just now?
I was talking about the whole, tournament thing. Will Ospreay, John Moxley.
Yeah, Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, John Moxley.
Yeah. And Fernando was saying that FTR is definitely going to turn on Cole. I do see it. I see Death Riders winning. I actually, I'll say it here. I'm going to change the prediction here before it's still in. We still have 24 hours away. I know Mike gets mad at me, but, it's still 24 hours away. So I can do this. I think Death Riders retain all the gold tomorrow night. I don't think there's going to be any title changes because, there were cracks tonight. I don't know what you saw at the end of the match. Edge tried to hug them and they were very distant and, something's definitely going to happen there. And something needs to happen there to get the interest back of the fans. Because like you said, fans lost interest in this storyline. So, but yes, so Ricochet comes out to the ring for commentary. Shane Taylor and I think the infantry, they're backstage. They just talk about how they are not the ops and the opportunities and all this stuff. So I don't really care for Shane Taylor promotions and all that stuff, but I don't know. Maybe you have a different take on those guys. I have no idea.
No, I don't. I respect them. I see what they're trying to do, but I don't know if they're ever going to really have a time where they're going to succeed, because just like I mentioned earlier on the SmackDown Penitentiary, I was on there earlier, that AEW is overcrowded, and I just don't think the Shane Taylor promotions does anything to really stand out to make somebody care about them. Just like really Leo Rush and Action Andretti, I don't feel like they do anything to really stand out for anybody to really care about them, and that's the problem that AEW has. And Collision is supposed to be a show separate from Dynamite, in my opinion, where people can shine, and they just don't do it because it just looks like a very bad B show, and that's a problem.
It does, and it really is sad. And I'm not
promo
sure.
Was solid though. Promo was solid.
The promo was great, but I just don't care for them. But the promo was good. I'm not gonna lie. Then we get the match, Speedball Mike Bailey versus, oh my god, how the hell do you say this one's name? Joe Listico, I think his name. I messed it up so bad. With Beast Mortos, I think that's how you say his name. I like this. I thought Speedball really sold it, making it a bit more going into tomorrow. But I also feel like too, Kenny Omega's definitely retaining and maybe going to turn heel. I feel like there's a possible heel run with Kenny Omega there, so they haven't explored yet with this belt. And I kind of feel that that's the way they might go, because it seems like there might be pushing, a Speedball as a babyface.
So they're definitely pushing him as a babyface. I think they have with Speedballs. I think they're pushing him too soon.
Right.
Despite what they want to make you believe, because they're losing in the signing wars. I hate to say it, but that's the case right now. I mean, they had Bobby Lashley and Ricochet in the last year, which definitely puts a thing. But I mean, at the same time, look at all the people they lost recently. So Speedball is not a major signing. I know what they think. I know what they're saying, but Speedball is not a major signing. Ironically, that TNA show I went to, fun fact, the last TNA house show I went to, besides the one that was here in Orlando, but in Atlanta, it was actually Speedball Mike Bailey versus Kevin Knight.
It was Kevin Knight too. That's crazy, because they're both in the company now.
Yeah, and they're both very good. But Speedball needs time to get introduced to the audience, because even though he was in TNA and the Major League Wrestling, I think he was there for a spell or two. The AEW audience is still bigger than TNA and MLW. I mean, I joke about it, but they are. So you have to get them used to that kind of audience, and the fans are not going to be that used to him. Even Speedball tonight. I mean, he got a pop, but was it a big pop? Was it a pop like, I just showed up 2 weeks ago, now I automatically get a international championship shot? I don't think so. I don't think that's a smart move. But I think they just did that because they're going to have a big feud with one Kenny Omega and Ricochet. So Kenny Omega is not trying to heal right away. I see what you're saying, but I don't see it happening right away, because Ricochet and Kenny Omega have to feud. I think Kenny Omega turns heel around the time Will Ospreay wins that championship.
Okay, that might make sense. So Kenny Omega is definitely retaining tomorrow night, then, for sure.
Yes,
that's right. Yeah, okay, all right, that makes sense here. So going else down here, that this match was good, but Speedball sold, and it was I liked it. But it was I don't know. It was really more Speedball than anything else. But they're trying to promote the match tomorrow night. So what did you think of the match?
That was solid. It was solid for a Rampage match.
Rampage match. No, yes. So, right after that was this promo, and I do want to get into this promo. This might be backstage segment of the night. Honestly, I don't know. It's also between Jay White and this one. It was them backstage. It was Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander. Thunder Rosa she, talks about her family and how she needs to win this for her family and how she needs to win this for her fans and win this for her whole community and kind of everything. And Chris Statlander said, well, I need to win too. I need a title shot. So these two, are like, get out of my way. I want the belt. But like I was telling you, beginning of the show, neither of them are gonna win. Now, could they go far in the tournament? I guess Thunder Rosa or Chris Statlander.
Well, they're facing each other. They both can't go far. But
well,
I think
one of them's gonna go far. I mean, obviously,
I think Thunder Rosa can make the final. Thunder Rosa can make the final. Chris Statlander should.
Yeah.
Because I think she is a untapped superstar in the women's division of AEW. I mean, they tried, but they don't ever follow through. But I also have always said that I see Chris Statlander going to WWE sooner rather than later.
Thunder Rosa turning out she needs the edge. Yeah, I agree with that too. I agree with that too. Yep. I think that's going to happen, and I think Statlander is going to go babyface because that's what it kind of looks like there. But I like this segment. I thought it was great between the two of them, and we'll see who ends up winning. But like I said in the beginning of the show, you said too, Mercedes is going to win the whole damn thing. So. I mean, if they have a feud with these two later on, which I know they've had some, matches together, some matches against each other, I think it would be a great feud. But at the same time, like Fernando was just saying, somebody has to turn heel, and it's probably going to end up being Thunder Rosa, right? I mean...
Yeah, because Chris Statlander has already turned heel and face a few times in the last couple years.
No, yeah, I agree with that. Completely here. We are almost at our main event, so I don't know if you want to run one more commercial and then we're
sure we can run on the commercial. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. You're watching AEW Collision Review. Matt Maddog Kelly, executive consultant. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, because this is Rated E for everyone. This is Unpopular Review. Please like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms, especially because on Tuesday nights, we goes down. It is NXT Review, NXT Trio, the best show in all of Popular Review Wrestling. Please join us each and every night after NXT goes off between 8 to 10, and we will be right there cracking jokes, making things, and saying stuff the right way, the fan way, because how else are you going to enjoy wrestling without being a fan?
On Tuesday nights, there's no other way to enjoy your after watching all that wrestling than watch more people talk about wrestling, have our fun, have our tangents, be petty as hell about any and everything, and y'all love it, so... give us a watch, subscribe, and comment, like everything that we do. Give us your input, and maybe we'll put it on the air.
Absolutely.
Come on, guys. It's Tuesday night. You're hanging out with the trio. We're talking about the stuff that happened on NXT. We're talking about Obafemi breaking people down. We're talking about the lovely JC Jane and how fantastic he is. And we're talking about Vic Joseph and how he's getting on my nerve and irritating me. But Tuesday nights, around 10-ish, catch us here. Join us, and it's a good time. Peace.
That was the NXT Trio. You can catch them every Tuesday night after NXT at 10:15, right after NXT Tuesday nights. You definitely want to check them out. Hosted by Bad Guy Jack, Sabrina Wrestling Doll, and our very own Freckle Sensei. So definitely check them out Tuesday nights. This is the AEW Collision Review go-home show, and honestly, it didn't feel like a go-home show. You know what I mean? You see, like, it did not feel like a go-home show at all. It felt,
agree with you.
It sucked. It's like they're 24 hours away, less than now, because the show's over, whatever. And they build it up like it's nothing. But I did like this next little promo segment, whatever you want to call it. I think it was like a package, maybe video package. It was Megan Bain, Tony Storm, and it was narrated by Renee Paquette. I like this. I really do like this. I like this whole thing. I like that. That's the one they're gonna use tomorrow night, which probably is most likely. They show it before Fans get a reaction out of it, but I really like it. It actually makes me excited for the match because I know Megan Bayne can go. I know Toni Storm's going to end up winning this match. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to get more Toni time, but I really did like the video package. What did you think?
It was okay. I'm a little interested in this match, so it was okay. It did what it needed to do.
Right. And before that, we saw, of course, I just want to mention, I just wanted to get to that because that was, really something, I really liked them tonight. Before that, we got Harley and Mercedes, our CEO. They were kind of butting at odds at each other. It doesn't look like Mercedes is a fan of Harley Cameron. You could see that going into the main event. They were having some issues. And it was just a bit of a funny segment. I think Mercedes had to sell it more. You feel me? Like she had to sell more because Harley Cameron, she's over with the fans, but like you said, she's lackluster as all hell. Besides the whole puppet gimmick and doing all this silly shit she's been doing for the company, she's pretty lackluster. So, but Mercedes really sold that whole segment. What did you think?
The segment was good. The match was decent. The match was actually a little bit better. But you could tell Sasha and Harley have had a feud for a little while now. So of course at the end of the day, Harley's feud with Sasha got Harley over, and I think Sasha was amused about that, so she put her in there. But the big news is that Julia Hart, picks up the victory by pinning Harley Cameron. Which was good for Julia Hart because I think she needed that to pick up a victory somewhere. Harley's going to still be popular even though her loss because she's still just on the come up. And then Sasha looks like she's afraid of Athena because you have to make Athena look even stronger before Athena takes her first L to Sasha Banks because she's going to take an L to Sasha Banks.
Oh, yeah. Julia's not winning tomorrow. There's no way. It's CEO's retaining for sure. That's obvious. But no, I agree with you 100% on that. And I also want to note here, because I told you in the group chat, and we said this shit on Wednesday, and I'll say it again. Julia Hart's entrance, man, that's just freaking incredible, dude. The fire and the music. I mean, it's like a female freaking Undertaker, Chris. It's unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable at what they do with their entrance. And I know Sheriff was saying, no, it's her moves. It's the thing. Her moves are kind of lackluster. I saw that in the match. She was definitely struggling, especially when Sasha or Mercedes, whatever you want to call her, was there. In the ring with her, you could tell she was struggling hard. So Mercedes or Sasha, whatever call her, definitely had to sell up more, had to upsell it. So I like Julia. I think she's great and all, but yeah, it's definitely her entrance for me. What do you think? I know you said this on Wednesday, but I agree with you even more tonight. So crazy.
All she is an entrance. She needs something else to really get her to where she needs to be, but. Right. She has the tools to succeed.
I agree with you. I see her as a TBS champion down the line. But like you said just a minute ago, Athena's definitely taking the belt off of Mercedes.
No, she's taking the L to Mercedes.
You really think Mercedes is going to keep the belt?
Oh, yes, 100%.
You do? Okay, yeah. I thought she was gonna drop the TBS belt, give it to Athena, and then go after Tony's belt at Fall In. That's what I thought they were doing. Maybe not.
She is, but she's not losing the title to Athena.
Well, she's Julia tomorrow, not Athena. Athena and her down the line, probably. I don't know when they're gonna do it. Maybe Forbidden Door, maybe before Fall In. I think Forbidden Door's in June. Think so. I think Forbidden Doors in June. Maybe Double or Nothing. I think Double or Nothing is like Memorial Day weekend, so maybe they can do it there. But no, yeah, I kind of agree with you. But I don't think it's going to be title versus title at AEW Fall In. EC. I think Mercedes has to give up something to win the world title. She might have her other belts, but I don't think she's going to have a TBS belt like that.
I'm not saying that she's going to make it that long, but she's not losing to.
So who do you see her losing to then?
Because I don't have an answer for you yet.
Okay.
I don't have an answer for you yet.
Because obviously she's winning the tournament. After she wins the tournament, she'll be set up to face Toni Storm, obviously. So, but yeah, this match was more Mercedes selling everything. That's what this was. This was, and Athena did good too. I'm not gonna lie. Athena, she's got some great moves. I do respect the hell out of her. I think she's great. I don't care for the spinner belts. I think they're so 2006, but that's just me. But yeah, Mercedes, our CEO, really sold this match tonight. It was unbelievable. What do you think of the match, EC?
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was just fine.
You agree, right, that Mercedes sold most of this, and that's because she's probably the most professional.
She knows how to tell a story in the ring. She knows how to tell a story in the ring because that's how she was trained, right? So that's why. But yeah.
I wish she was in WWE, man. Just if she stayed or came back or whatever. I know they have bad blood and there's a lot of money into her, and Tony's putting everything, and she's going to be world champion.
There's no bad blood. If she went to WWE right now, Triple H will welcome back with open arms. The problem is her ego. The problem is Tony gives her everything she wants, and even though she'll be a huge star and she'll get mostly everything she wants in WWE, she's not going to get everything she wants because there's other stars there, right? So. And she doesn't want that, so she's going to stay with AEW. Where they just give her money to do whatever the hell she wants.
I mean, dude, it's a lot of money. Like, Tony Khan for a nice big fat check, and he's paying her a lot, and she's going to be world champion by falling no matter what, I think. And that was pretty much it, man. This was the main event, and that's pretty much the show. You see, it's like I said, this did not feel like a go-home show, and it's weird because I felt the same way about Chamber SmackDown, like the night before Chamber. I didn't feel like it was a go-home show right before Chamber, right before, Cena turns heel and blah, blah, blah. I feel this is the same way. We're in the same boat with both companies right now. There's nothing that shocks me on these go-home shows, but they're not doing it for me. You feel me? Before we kick out,
we'll see how the go-home show comes for Raw and SmackDown in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm really excited, but at the same time, I'm not excited because my expectations are low because the build has been very low in my opinion.
Then you'll enjoy WrestleMania. Just sit, wait and enjoy the ride the Rock is taking you on.
I just want to see him once. I don't care if it's SmackDown.
He'll show up one time before Raw. Before WrestleMania. He'll show up one time.
I just want to see him once. I have a T-shirt. Wore it yesterday and wear it today. Wore Triple H, but I have a T-shirt that says "I want your soul." It's The Rock. It was pretty cool, but gone on sale. But anyway, so that wraps up this Collision episode we have here. And we have something for everybody over here at UPR. We have, I think, right? I don't know if you help me out with this. EC Mike Knox is off for a couple weeks, right? I think.
I believe he's moving his show to Tuesday starting next week.
Okay. So we'll keep you updated for that on when that is. So make sure everyone looks out for that when that airs, and I'll talk to you. I'll talk to Mike about that after. Rated R Review Show still Mondays, 10:45. You can catch them there. EC, Steven Beeman, and Big Daddy Cool, or King Big Daddy Cool, because he had this giant crown on the other night. I wonder where he got that. We have the NXT Trio Show. I talked about those guys earlier. They're great. Bad Guy Jack, Wrestling Doll Sabrina, Freckle Sensei. Make sure you check them out after NXT, I believe, on Tuesday nights at 10:15. Check out All Elite Women and Friends show. Sometimes I'm on that, depending on the case. I would check out our previous episode on Wednesday. That was probably one of our wildest episodes. I'm not gonna lie. I do a news segment on there, so you always catch me on there. Top fives and prediction shows on Thursdays. We just did one actually last night for AEW Dynasty. And we have the SmackDown review show On Saturdays, I actually had to fill in, so make sure you check that out. It was myself and Vic this afternoon, but that's usually hosted by Z is Silent and Vic. You can catch them, and then you get Z again with me, usually on 10:15 Collision Saturday nights until they move it to Thursdays. And yeah, you see, I need to talk to you about that after too, because AEW is moving the shows to Thursdays to no longer compete with WWE. So they won again. So we have a lot of stuff on the entertainment side. Not sure if you want to bring that up, BC. If you want,
we'll talk about that next time. Let's just wrap it up and go home on a Saturday night.
You sounds great. Thank you all for joining us. I will be back next week. Hopefully with Z. If not, maybe EC can fill in again. You're always a great host. Like I said, you're always welcome here in our Collision studio. So
if Z's not here, I will probably be here next week. Yes.
Okay. All right. And I will see you then. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a good night. Someone said, what about the entertainment? We do have entertainment shows, but EC did not want to show it. So
we'll do it next time.
Anyways,
Ron's gonna ask. Thanks so much for watching this, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Hit the street.
See you next week.